everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 325. Andrew here. Snake says, podcast day, best day of the week, always ready for some Molehill. Oh, glad to hear that. Lyrically C, hello, good evening. Cafe Fox, same to you. I do get odd recommended videos. Now, I don't mind being recommended cat videos. I like cat videos. They've got cats in them. Cats are cool. But, that's I mean, that'd be like a video of I stick my cat's head in my mouth and it's holding up some poor cat. Ah, you know. No, not like that. Not like that. So, those of you who watch the Sunday stream, which happens on Sunday, noticed that last week the Sunday stream was 3 or 4 hours late in starting, and that's because my hard drive went bleh. That wasn't the noise I meant to make. I meant to make that noise, that spitting sound you make by sticking your tongue between your lips and blowing. I don't think I've ever made that noise myself, and I don't know how to do it. You know, there's a vocal warm-up technique where you're supposed to keep your lips closed, you know, put pressure on your lips to keep them closed, but force air through them to make them go buh-buh-buh-buh-buh-buh-buh. So you're supposed to go... I can't... You're supposed to, like, vibrate your lips. I can't do it. I don't know. Which means I'm a bad singer. Which is why I don't... a raspberry, yes. Hey, Chicago. Yeah, that's why I don't sing anymore. Because you can't do the lip vibraty thing. Then you can't sing. Them's the rules. So, Sunday morning of last week, I roll out of bed, walk out to the living room, or can I? Yes, what? Just like that, because I'm definitely a morning person. Turn on my computer, and I get a screen I've never seen before. And I forget what it says, but it required me to open the BIOS settings. For some reason, it was wondering, hey, what hard drive should I boot off of? Well, I have 2 hard drives. I have the one in the tower, and I have one behind my desk for backups. I'd like you to boot off the one in the PC, please. The same one you boot off of every morning. And I said, oh, okay. I can't do that. I said, why? The computer said, I don't know. But maybe this blue screen will help. It did not. Maybe my lips are dry. I can spit. I can't do it. It's like trying to get a person who can't whistle to whistle. Just, you know. I can whistle a little bit, but anyway. Long story short, my computer stopped booting off my hard drive. Well, that's not good. So, I putzed around with, BIOS for a while, and I called a friend of mine, see if they had any advice, and after an hour of putzing around and friend advice, it's okay, thank you, Larry Cleese, I decided what I need to do now is I need to go buy a new hard drive, because I tried reseating the hard drive. I tried taking the CMOS battery out and putting it back in. I tried everything I could think of. So not going to boot off the hard drive. So went to Best Buy, bought a new hard drive. I also bought a housing for the old one. So it's a M.2 solid state drive. Unfortunately, Best Buy did not have one, so I had to drive 10 miles to another Best Buy to get this. Came home, took out the old hard drive, put in the new one, installed Windows, set everything up, put the SSD enclosure, plugged it in, and it recognized the hard drive. That's good. But it couldn't read it. That's bad. Not like I didn't have any options. My computer helpfully informed me that I could always format the drive. And I said, thank you kindly, computer, but I would prefer not to, because there's stuff on there that I really like. You know, pictures of cats and stuff. Pooh, I thought to myself, I hope I did not lose the contents of that drive. Now, you may be thinking, Andrew, you just said you have a backup drive behind your desk. Didn't you, back up your stuff? Not all of it. For example, perhaps you watch or listen to the Movie Mandates podcast that I do with my sister. The next 6 episodes, April, May, and June's episodes, were on that hard drive. Why didn't I back them up? Because they're in their raw format, and I didn't, once I edit them and finalize them, then I move them over, then I copy them over to the backup drive. I just hadn't backed them up yet. So those were a loss. I also have some Excel spreadsheets that I keep on my desktop, which are where I track what movies I've watched, what games I've played, a bunch of Patreon stuff, like when the anniversaries are coming up, who's getting their Patreon reward videos, that kind of stuff. How I'm spending my Patreon money, things like that. Important stuff. That I never backed up, even though I really, really should have. I just sits on my desktop and I use it nearly every day. I failed to back it up. Bad Andrew. So that's so I could restore and rebuild most everything, but yeah, that's a bitter pill to swallow. I had lost the next 6 episodes of Movie Mandates, the next episode of Debut Review, the spreadsheets I had on my desktop. Matthew, back up everything. That's rule 1. Yeah. And what's funny is I do. I just I guess we should expand rule 1. Back up everything immediately. Not when you're done playing with it. Now. So what were my options? Well, some of you fine folk advised, perhaps you could look into professional data recovery, or maybe purchase a piece of software that does data recovery. Get Yo Stuff Back Pro or whatever. So I looked into data recovery, professional services, plenty of them in San Diego, but and they all boast like 97-98% success to get all your stuff back. And well, that's great, except they are redonkulously expensive. We're talking $1,200 to $1,400 typically, if not more, to recover info on a drive. That's a lot of money. And I just spent $200 on a new hard drive and a hard drive housing. I didn't really care to spend another $1,200 to $1,400 on a says going forward, use Google Docs for your spreadsheet. Yeah, I'll definitely be backing up. I'm probably gonna use something like pCloud Friend of mine says, "Hey, I have an account, and if you get it, I can get a discount." I'm like, "Okay, you know, something that's syncs to the cloud. That way, if my house burns down, I don't, if my computer tower and the drive back there goes on flambe, yeah." So I looked into software that could recover data from a drive. I mean, as we've established, my computer can see the drive, it just can't read it. It can format it, but can't read it. So I ended up getting I had some recommendations. I went with something, it's not called Get Your Stuff Back, Get Data Back Pro, which unfortunately the license was about $80, but better than $1,200. So I bought that, and luckily I was able to retrieve almost everything off of the hard drive. There are a few bad sectors on it, but I haven't found specifically, what files whatever files have bad sectors. I was able to recover all of the movie mandates, debut review, the desktop spreadsheets and stuff like that. So I have everything, I think, set up back to where it was. Also, I have my OBS settings back. I was able to copy all my user / whatever / app data to get all that. All my profiles and for that, and my video editor. So for recovery, yeah. Those were the prices I was quoted from a couple different places in town, about $1,200 to $1,400. It's like, and they were probably going to run the same little utility I ran and charge me over $1,000 for it, and I got away with spending almost $300 all told, new hard drive, housing, and software. It's money I didn't really plan on spending, but at least I didn't lose anything, at least so far as I know. Oh, also I have all of my DVDs and stuff. I have a program, DVD Profiler or something, it's a running catalog of everything I own. All my video games I have in a spreadsheet. Glad I didn't lose those, because that would suck. I mean, I could always recatalog everything, but that's a pain. Game saves are all backed up. Most of my video stuff is all backed up. Just the stuff that wasn't backed up was the stuff I was currently working on. So I'm gonna have to do like cloud syncing to make to make sure that of course getting a 2 terabytes or something in the cloud is gonna cost a couple $100 too. But I've got Patreons, so probably gonna dig into the Patreon fund for that. Matthew, hell, I'm the crazy guy who has all my two-factor authentication authenticator on 3 different devices. Yeah. I have a 2FA on pretty much everything. All of my accounts and passwords, that's backed up and saved. Game saves backed up and saved. I had most stuff. The only things I really would have lost if I were not able to recover stuff off this drive were upcoming episodes of Movie Mandates, debut review, and some files. Pardon me. And some of my spreadsheets, which are just personal stuff that doesn't really matter. Like, I don't need to keep track of every movie I watch by year, but I do, because it's kind of fun. Also, it's a neat thing you can do. It's like, have I seen this? I think I've seen this. Did I watch this? Yeah. What was the last episode of Attack on Titan I watched? I don't even remember now. Oh, 78. Okay. It's great for when you are in the middle of a show and you forget to watch it, and then you don't remember what episode you left off on. So yeah, that was excitement I didn't need, expense I didn't need, but that happens. Lyrically, see, wonder how does words like a, rest of the title, film, video game, or the are alphabetized. I include a and the in how when I'm using a spreadsheet. I don't know why. I mean, that's typically not how alphabetical archiving works. Typically, you drop articles. So A Christmas Carol would be in the C's, and The Night of the Living Dead would be in N's. A Nightmare on Elm Street would be on N also. But I do a new tab in my Excel spreadsheet. I do a new tab for each year, so there's not that many entries. Although my Games Master list, what do I do for that? I don't even remember. Let's see. Do I have a the section? Scroll. I do. The Sexy Brutal, the Stanley Parable. Those are all in the T's. The Legend of Heroes, The Legend of Zelda, those are all in the T's. Yeah. Probably shouldn't do that, but I do. Move those move those spreadsheets over to Google Sheets immediately. Yeah, moving all my... The pain in the butt was getting Microsoft Office reset up. Lyrically C says, okay, I want to reorganize my films and games and is wondering how I should go about it. Generally speaking, you anything that starts with an article, a, an, and the, you use the next word in the title. That's typically how you do it. Reason being is twofold. One, there are a lot of titles that start with articles, and two, a lot of times we have trouble remembering whether a title starts with that article or not. Is it Nightmare on Elm Street or A Nightmare on Elm Street? Is it Night of the Living Dead or The Night of the Living Dead? So. Alright. A few $100 in the hole now, but it just turned out okay. I lost a few hours on of Sunday stream on Sunday, but them's the break them's the break sometime. Alright, so let us talk about No More Heroes 3. Because I'm playing that right now. And I don't think it's very good. Which bums me right out. Because I'm a fan of the first one. I don't think the second was as successful, but, fun enough. I haven't played Travis Strikes Back. It did not look very good to me. I don't mind that it's a spin-off. I don't mind that it's very different. As an example, I'm excited to play Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. And that plays nothing like the numbered installments of Bayonetta. So I don't mind that Travis Strikes Back, Strikes Again, something like that, was different, just that it didn't look very good. But No More Heroes came out, No More Heroes 3, I bought it, and I started playing it because wanted to take a break from long RPG stuff. I'm like, hey, let's, 10-hour Sunday stream tomorrow, Jared? Yeah. No, not how that works. So I thought, No More Heroes. Quick action games, probably only 10 or 12 hours long. Let's have a nice palate cleansing game. No More Heroes 3 is... I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's very good, at least so far. I'm about halfway through. I'm ranked 5, so I have four more baddies to smack with my beam katana. Chicago says recently started a spreadsheet about games I want on Wii U and eShop. Would hate to lose that, so I have it saved on the cloud. Yeah. Game Eye says Cafe Fox. Pretty nice game peripheral guide cataloging. Can back up a spreadsheet too. Yeah. Problem with doing anything more than 6 hours is YouTube will not let you edit anything that goes over 6 hours. So you'll notice, when I start streaming, I'm usually futzing around with the sound and stuff for the first couple of minutes, and then I start, hello everyone, or happy Sunday, Molehill Mountain or Sunday stream. And then when you go watch the video, at least a couple days later, that bit is gone. It's because I've removed it. I edit out the bathroom breaks too. But if a live stream is over 6 hours, you don't have the ability to edit. I could download it and edit and re-upload it, but I'm not going to. Colin Venture, hello, says, good evening, Andrew. Have you played any of the Persona games before? I have indeed. One, Persona 5 Royale. That was actually purchased for me by one of... I'm sorry. That was I purchased it with Patreon money because I think Brian's Patreon reward video. He's like, I want you to get Persona 5 and play it on stream. I said, all right. So I did. Difficult game for me to get. I've talked about this a lot before, but since you're asking, I love a lot about it. But it's hard for me to get into because of the way the game is structured. I really like the combat and the palaces, but I don't care for the day-to-day structure of the game. For those of you who aren't familiar, it takes place over the course of like a school year, and all of the major events happen on certain days. Which means that a lot of the time you end up just kind of hanging around for a couple weeks waiting for the story to do its thing. And I find most of the... This is a personal thing, minority opinion here, but I find most of the activities in the game that aren't fighting monsters really dull and uninteresting. So... when the characters themselves start going, man, I wish a bad guy would show up so that we could, storm their palace and steal their treasure. I'm sitting there nodding my head going, yeah, right? So it's a hell of a game. It's definitely an artistic achievement. Love the music, love the style, love the combat. Story's cool. But, man, when I'm not in a palace... The game is frightfully dull for me. But that hasn't turned me off this... I'm still playing through 5, by the way. I got stuck on a boss that made me very mad, so I had to take a break from the game. I do plan to complete it, though. I also plan to play... I would really like to try Persona 5... Persona 5 Strikers or Persona Strikers. I don't remember if it's specifically 5, but which is the Muso version of Persona. Because I was wondering, I like the combat and I like the style and the characters and the story and stuff, but so maybe I'd find the more action heavy Muso style game rather than the slice of life visual novel-esque type of game more appealing to my personal gaming sensibilities. So I'm certainly not turned off the series or anything, and it's not like I don't like the game, but I have frustrations with Persona 5 that most others don't seem to have. So, Colin says that was my first one too. My favorite was 4, to be honest. I played it before my Xbox. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard 4 is really good. 3, 4, and 5 are really the only ones I hear anyone talk about. But, yeah. Played Persona 3 up to Persona 5, so Snake. Older Persona games have better pacing. Oh, really? Okay. Trilink, hello, says, still planning on finishing Baten Kaitos in the GameCube? You're going to wait for the remake? I'm still planning on finishing Baten Kaitos. I have, that's my, pardon me, that's my New Year's resolution for this year is finish Persona 5, finish Baten Kaitos, and finish Geist, another GameCube game. All games where I got up to a certain point and got stuck on essentially a boss battle and just never went back to it. Kind of frustrating bullshit boss battles. I'm like, this is bullshit! Yeah, throw a controller. So, yeah. But anyway, No More Heroes 3... clearly made on a budget, probably both time and money, because technically this game is struggling. So in the first game, the game is kind of oddly structured. So you are working your way up the ranks of assassins by killing all the assassins higher on the ladder than you, right? But in order to earn the right to challenge the next rung on the ladder, you have to pay an entry fee. And you do that by driving around town and doing odd jobs. You either pick up coconuts, or pick up trash, or gather up... a lot of picking things up. Gathering scorpions, you can mow a lawn. There's a couple different mini games that you do. There's also some go beat up a warehouse full of bad guys type of missions. There's just, assassination missions where the main combat comes in. But once you earn enough money, you pay the entrance fee, and then you fight your way through a themed level, and then fight a wacky boss at the end. And that's the loop of No More Heroes 1. No More Heroes 2 does essentially the same thing, except the main city, Santa Destroy is the name of the city, instead of being able to wander around the city, you didn't get to do that in Part 2. They made the city... You just selected the locations out of a menu. So if you wanted to go to an area and fight a bunch of dudes to earn money, you pick that out of a menu. If you wanted to go play the coconut minigame, you pick that out of a menu. I mean, Santa Destroy, the open world wandering around, was never the most interesting thing to wander around anyway. So, really no big loss. Also, the sequel changed its minigames to kind of 8-bit style minigames. There was a gym game and a cooking minigame, I think, and pest control minigame. Bunch of stuff. It's fun. I think where 2 went wrong was in just some of the mechanics. Like, they introduced a large enemy who were just frustrating damage sponges. You just hit these guys forever and they would not go down. There was also this one area, you're in like the parking lot of a supermarket fighting wave after wave of enemies, to the point where I thought the game might have broken. And I'm like, am I missing something? How many waves of dudes do I have to fight to move on here? So, number 2's still an okay game, but I felt in a lot of ways just... Also, story-wise, it just kind of ignored / undid everything it did in the first game. It also got a little lecherously gross in some cases. Not as successful. But 3... goes back to 1, where you have the open world of Santa Destroy, and you wander around doing odd jobs to make money, so you can do the entrance fee, so you can fight the baddie. There are 2 main changes here. Number 1, instead of just the city of Santa Destroy, There's 6 of these cities now. So instead of one technically crap, janky looking, big, open, empty, ugly area to wander around, now there's 6 of them with loading screens between each. Oh, there's loading. Everything you do loads. Every mission you go into, loading. Go to a new area, loading. Walk through a door, loading. It's really frustrating. Also, I wouldn't say that the Santa Destroy in the original Wii game is... I wouldn't say it's technically more proficient than what we see in No More Heroes 3, but it's also been nearly 15 years, kind of expecting better now. Santa Destroy wasn't as annoying as Santa Destroy in 3 because it wasn't that big of an area. It was just this small town that you could wander around. There's some cars and people walking around, and you could run them over with your bike, but you just wander around and do stuff. It's fine. But in No More Heroes, Santa Destroy is even bigger, and there's 6 of them, and they are big, open, empty, ugly places with very little going on. There's very few mini games too. There's the lawnmower minigame is back. There's a trash collecting minigame. There's a racing minigame on your bike. There's shoot Godzilla-sized alligators with a tank. That's kind of cool. That's 4. There's unclog a public toilet, which is a funny idea, but it's not really well done. So, okay, that's 5. It's not terrible. There are a couple side activities. The scorpions are not a mini game, but they're wandering around. You can pick them up and deliver them to the sushi shop for a little cash. There's collectible trading cards littering the city that you can pick up and give to some dude for cash. There are actually little side quests, but they're all essentially text adventures, so every time you start them, it just goes to a... You remember the green communication screen in Metal Gear Solid, the codec screens? Looks exactly like that. And it's not like you get to choose your dialogue options, it's just you're watching all the that I've seen so far, all the side activity or side quests are just watch this little vignette. Wasn't that fun? Oh, first you have to load into the vignette, then load out of it. Now you might have to travel to a completely different city area, move from Santa Destroy to Neo Brazil or whatever, to get to the next part of the side quest. And it's like, this is just really boring. The assassin missions or defense missions, whatever they're called in this game, are just one room, and I think there's like 3 variations on the room. You go in a room, you fight some combination of 3 to 5 dudes. I'm halfway through the game. They seem to have run out of new dudes a 10th of the way into the game. It's... The combat's pretty good. The combat's fun, but I'm seeing the same scenarios over and over. It's just kind of dull. But here's the worst part. Once you get enough money to pay the entrance fee, there's no themed level before the boss. You just go straight to the boss. Well, that's a bummer. Bosses are all unique and interesting and usually pretty cool. More along the lines of the first one than the second one, which ran into just some really crappy gimmicks and weird stuff. Like, if you remember, what was his name? Destroy Man, I think. When you rematched him in the second game. I don't know what your experience was, but my experience is he would fly out of reach. and stay there for long periods of time. And you've got a sword. There's nothing you can do except just kind of stand around and wait for him to decide to come back down and fight. There was a lot of crap like that in the second game. So far, the boss battles in this one are better. More along the lines of the first game. They're imaginative and well thought out and unique and surprising and fun. But there's no build up to it. You just get dumped in the boss arena. With one exception so far. There's one boss that has you have to creep through a Japanese high school in the middle of the night with a flashlight in first person. Ooh, spooky. But okay, that's interesting. It's an interesting idea, but it's not very fun in execution because your movement is slow and your turning speed is even slower. So you follow a green ghostly light through the halls of this school until you get to a T-junction, and then you go one direction, and you wander in and out of classrooms until you find the ones with enemies in it, which unlocks a door where the boss is standing. Cool idea. Not fun to play, though. And it makes me sad. Let's see. Sounds like they kind of copied Mad World, says Snake. Snake wants a Mad World remaster. I have Mad World, Wii game, black and white game, except for, red. Very stylish. I think Mad World could benefit from a remaster because the idea was there, the execution wasn't quite there from a visual standpoint. The environments, because of the black and white, it could be difficult to visually parse the environments at times. But if you look at stuff like, what's the one with the dog and the fox? I forget what it's called, but it has a kind of a similar, not gory, but a similar black and white aesthetic, but it uses a lot of shading and gray it makes the environments a lot more readable than they were in Mad World. So yeah, I think that could actually benefit from a remaster. Chicago says, I beat the first No More Heroes on Wii, enjoyed it, have the second but haven't played it. I bought the third because it was on sale, backlog game. Yeah, I bought the third, I think I bought it for $20, so. I also just found out today, I think, that it's on the the PlayStation. I'm wondering if it runs any better on the PlayStation. Another thing with that's... the actual combat runs well. All the outside stuff, like in Santa Destroy, that runs and plays and controls and looks like hot garbage. It's like embarrassingly bad. But the combat stuff, I mean, because it's all relegated to a single room, so looks really nice and runs really smooth. It does run into an issue with sometimes there's just so many particle effects, and when you slash people, there's speed lines and sparks and blood and slime and poofs of magic, and it's like I literally cannot see what's going on. I'm just gonna keep hitting the attack button. I hope I'm hitting something. Gotta use sound cues now because I can't see anything. So it goes a little overboard on the visual flourishes. But at least like Persona 5, it's got it where it counts. The combat's actually quite good. Even though it's visually... Persona 5 doesn't have this problem, though, but even though it does visually obscure what's going on, just with the artistic flourishes. Mad World was crazy fun, says Chicago. Blanc, thank you, Cafe Fox. That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. Yes. Yeah, I enjoyed Mad World too. Really, the only issue I had with the game was sometimes the environments were hard to read just because of the visual aesthetic. It was like, wait, what am I looking at? How many levels? Where's the door? Yeah. So a little bit. I think if that game were redone today, I think it could benefit from a remaster. I agree. So Shinobu and Bad Girl are in the game, but they're both just hanging out in the motel for reasons that, I mean, I won't spoil, but it happens at the very beginning of the game. So the game has a cool premise. Travis is now the #1 assassin in the world. You know, good on him. Aliens showed up, and so now he has to fight his way through the ranking of aliens. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But when it starts, he's in his motel room, and aliens land, and he comes outside, and apparently Shinobu and Bad Girl also live in the hotel. All right. And then they fight off the aliens, and then for plot reasons, both Shinobu and Bad Girl stay at home for the rest of the game, at least so far. Again, I'm only 60% of the way through the game. You can go talk to them. During each section of the game, you can go talk to them, and there's a different dialogue exchange. They're still there. They just so far don't. I mean, it's not a multiplayer game, but you did get to play as Shinobu a couple times in the sequel, for what it's worth. It's just an odd inclusion. I'm like, are we going to do anything with these characters or not? I mean, I'm not a criticism, just a notation. It's something I noticed. Let's see. Chicago says, you talking about Blanc with the wolf cub and the doe? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was speaking more specifically the visual presentation of that game, but yes, that's the one. Snake says, God, the Wii had so many good games. It does, man. I mean, going on a ride here. Going on a ticket to ride. See that shelf over there? Those are GameCubes. That shelf and a half down there, that's GameCube. But that 2.5 shelves, that's all Wii games. I have like 85 Wii games. As much as I don't particularly like the Wii as a console, Snake is right. There were a lot of really good games on that system. So even if even if this is not how I wanted to play them, or in the case of something like, Metroid Other M, like this, and then like this, and then back to here, that may not be how I wanted to play some of these games, but they were still really good games. Similar to the Switch, I don't particularly care for the Switch. I love the Wii U, though. I don't particularly care for the Switch, but there's some great games on the Switch. I mean, the nice thing about the Switch, though, is while I definitely do not want to play games like this, with the Switch, I don't have to. I can play them like this. Like a normal person. But yeah, lots of great games on the Wii. A lot of garbage on the game. There's a lot of games on the Wii. Just sheer number of actual individual titles. There's a ton of Wii games. Which means there's a lot of garbage. But it also means there's a lot of really good games on the Wii. Let's see. Conduit was made. I actually didn't care for Conduit. It was a nice attempt, but fell flat for me, unfortunately. Shame they made a sequel to Conduit? I don't remember that. I must Google now. Conduit Wii 2. '2011. Well, I'll be gall-derned. Was it still high voltage? It was high voltage. Huh. Yeah. I have no memory of that. Interesting. Turn the protagonist into an everyday man into literally Duke Nukem. Oh no! Did they Bomberman him? Remember when they did Bomberman remake and made it a badass angsty Iron Man soldier thing? It's like, what are you doing? No, don't do that with the cute little mascot. The Wii also had Manhunt 2. I haven't played either of the Manhunt games. I really should play those at some point just to see what they're like. 120 Wii games Chaos has. Wow. Snake says the ending legit had George Washington and Abraham Lincoln coming in to save the world. Was that the second one? Because I don't recall that happening in the first. I have very few memories of the first game. I remember playing it. I remember being kind of just meh on it. They got the... Oh, they got... who did Duke Nukem? I probably know the name if I heard it. Can't remember. Cafe Fox says, missed out on a lot of the Wii, didn't get into it until the end of the lifespan, too busy with PlayStation and World of Warcraft. Well, World of Warcraft can certainly take up a lot of your time, and the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 had a lot of games that the Wii didn't have. I mean, unsurprisingly, the games flat out would not work on the Wii. Not without, severe retooling. The Wii was significantly less powerful. So, there was no excuse back in the GameCube days, but, oh, shoot, no, that's a PlayStation, that'd be 2006, so that would be the PlayStation 3 era, yeah. And 360. So... let's see. Conduit 2 ending had ex-presidents coming in to save the world. Okay. There's a lot of good Japanese horror games on the Wii. There were, yeah. Calling was fun. Didn't really like Jew on the Grudge. There's, I thought the Silent Hill... The Silent Hill that's on the Wii is interesting. It's not bad. It's interesting. As... not particularly a fan of Silent Hill, I thought it was a really interesting experience. Leaning positive. Biggest problem with the game is it's more an adventure game than a horror game, because there are no monsters in the non-flipside world. So you have the regular world, and then you have the... In typical Silent Hill, you hear the siren and everything gets rusty and iron grates on the floor and like that, right? The other world, you have enemies in both versions, right? But in Shattered Memories, the one on the Wii, there are no enemies in the regular world, so there's no tension. You're not in any danger. Once the world flips, and it does an ice theme instead of the rust and blood that most of the other games do. It's like, oh, now we run. Because there's no combat in the game either. You just have to run to the exit. Which is not bad. It's interesting. There's also a game called Cursed Mountain. Which is a game where your brother hikes up a mountain and never comes back, so you hike up after him. And there's a lot of mystic stuff in it and ghosts, and I hate the motion controls, but it's the game does a nice job of making you feel like you're actually climbing up a mountain via paths. I don't recall there actually being like a lot of physical climbing, but you're just walking up paths and stuff like that. It's a pretty well done game. Again, I hate motion control, but at least De Blob 2 figured out not to The Blob 2, the game where you're a paint blob and you just wander around painting the surfaces of an entire city. In the first game, how do you jump? You do that. Oh god, that sucks. Luckily, I think it's a THQ game. In the sequel, they're like, "Hey, look, a button. Ooh, we could use that for jump. Yeah, good idea, guys." Made the game much more playable. Let's see. Snake says, typical Silent Hill fashion, it only had that one very frustrating puzzle that just became a chore and annoying to solve. Don't recall what puzzle that was, but alright. Wii Shop had a lot of shovelware, but a lot of diamonds hidden in it. Yeah. There's another game that I rarely ever hear anyone talk about. Little King's Story. Not one of the eShop games, but it was a full retail game. It's kind of like Pikmin. You're playing essentially playing in a small boy's imagination where he is the king of his little town and he collects all the princesses and he ventures forth to new kingdoms with his the population of his kingdom, and he physically throws them into battle. And it's kind of like a Sim City crossed with Pikmin, kind of. It's one of those city builder games, but where you throw people at tasks, but you also throw them at enemies to fight them. It's a charming, cute, and fun game. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that one, but I really enjoyed it. There was a Japanese horror game never translated, so now it's lost to time. Oh, that's a shame. Probably not lost to the Japanese. Probably not. I just remember it was about demons and it was 2D. And Snake really liked The Blob. Yeah, The Blob was fun. Best use of motion control was NHL Slapshot. Okay. I would... Hockey. Best use of motion control. Ooh, I would have to give that a think, because I just kind of hate motion control. So, best use of it. Selecting options and menus was just... actually, I like the pointer. Selecting options in menu, or playing rail shooter games like Ghost Squad, House of the Dead, Dead Space Extraction, stuff like that. Where you point at the screen and shoot things. That worked just fine. Do I have show and tell? Show and tell. Do I have it in here? I think I know where it is. Hold on. Show and tell. First of all, you remember this? The Wii condoms? I have a couple of these. I never use them. You know what else I don't use, Nintendo? The strap. You can't make me, Nintendo. I don't use the stupid Wii condom or the strap. Is this commando style? I don't know. You remember this? The Wii Zapper? So the remote would go up here, and then, does this pull off? I don't remember. There we go. Well, this would go in the back. Anyway, there we go. So now you can play Link's crossbow training. So this actually hits this one up here hits the B button on the Wii remote, and of course you can hit the Z button, I think it is, on the. So yeah, so you. This is so goddamn silly. I love this shit. This makes me happy. Why did I have that in the bottom of my dresser drawer with my VCR? I don't know. It's probably the same reason the Wii condom is in there. But yeah. Oh yeah, I have Link's crossbow training. Oh man, the Wii had so many stupid that's actually a Nintendo peripheral though. But yeah, the Wii had all kinds of really stupid peripherals. They had like every third party worth its salt would be making really goofy plastic tat that would clip onto the end of the Wii remote. Like they'd make like real short golf clubs and tennis rackets for Wii Sports. It didn't do anything. It's just something you clipped onto the Wii, but play safe. Oh, Boom Blocks. Yeah, the Steven Spielberg one. Boom Blocks is actually pretty fun. Let's see. Dokupan Kingdom was a game me and my friends played for party nights over a month-and-a-half period. One massive campaign of map-conquering fun. I don't remember that one. Far better heading right to be. All right. Wii Sports Boxing. Okay, this is Jared. Unprotected Gaming. There you go. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, Skyward Sword, the motion controls work. They do what they're supposed to. I just don't like them. I don't want to physically swing the sword. I'll just press a button, thank you. Please and thanks. I mean, we can already do vertical slash horizontal slash and stab on a controller. We've been doing that in 3D Zelda since Ocarina of Time. The only thing the motion control added was the ability to slash diagonally, but you could always do that with, like, hold a bumper and then move the control stick, the right control stick, in the direction. Well, I mean, you'd have to use the Pro Controller, I guess, but you move the the camera stick in the direction you want to slash. Boom! I solved it. We're done. But yeah, technically, it worked. Of course, the only problem is occasionally. Where did I put it? Oh, it's in the zapper. Occasionally, you'd lose sync, and you'd have to gotta recalibrate, and then you'd have to sit your Wii remote down on your desktop or a table or something for 5 seconds while it recalibrates the motion sensor. Is this a plus? Yeah, this actually. Yeah, this is the Skyward Sword remote. So this is a Wii Motion Plus. There weren't a ton of Wii Motion Plus games, were there? Yeah. So I guess just technically, the Skyward Sword is probably the best Wii Motion Plus game. Because it does exactly what it's supposed to. So, I may not like it, but it works. Let's see. Snake says, remember when they ported Black Ops to the Wii? Yeah, they certainly did do that. Snake says, and they downgraded the graphics and removed so much it became its own game, albeit a very bad game. Yeah, it was like, I mean, if you're gonna... I mean, it's like stripping down a car down to, like... You have the frame, the wheels, and just the chairs sitting on the empty frame. The whole body of the thing is gone. There's no radio anymore. You can't do... You can't even really drive it, but you could sit in it while someone pushes you down the street. It's like, yeah, it's a car. I mean, the broadest definition, sure. Yeah, it got to the point where it's... I didn't get upset. It was a shame, sure, but, anyone who only owned the Nintendo Wii was missing out on a bunch of cool stuff. Granted, people who didn't own a Nintendo Wii were also missing out on a bunch of cool stuff that was exclusive to the Wii. I mean, it looked a generation behind, but, a lot of it was very cool. But with that generation, the PlayStation 3 and... was it Xbox One at the time or 360? 360. Those games wouldn't run as they were on the Wii. Just the Wii was just nowhere near powerful enough, so they really had to, scale everything back. You could get an Xbox game running on a GameCube. Splinter Cell played just fine on the GameCube and the PS2. Consoles that were weaker than the Xbox, but in the same technological generation. But then you move to 360 and PS3, those are the same technological generation, but the Wii may have been their contemporary, but was not the same technological generation. No. Which is a shame, but, let's see, Jared says, I just played the Switch version, used sticks for the directional cuts. Is there a Switch version of Skyward Sword? Did they port Skyward Sword to the Switch? Oh yeah, they did. There was the Skyward Sword HD. Right. Yeah, that's a Switch game. Right, and they would have had to. They worked on the control. So the thing I was arguing about back in 2011, 2010, 2011, it's just like, see? It works just fine without the motion controls. So, yeah. Alright. So we're going to call it for tonight. It's fun reminiscing about the Wii and getting to play with the zapper and the Wii condom again. So tomorrow we are back in Crossbell City and got to talk to people, see if I'm not sure if we're going straight to the headquarters to move the story forward, or if we need to wander around the city and talk to everybody. If they have anything new to say beforehand, they may still be on the same set of dialogue. So there would be a motion control option too. But yeah, now that I remember the existence of Skyward Sword HD, I remember when that came out. I said, is there just a controller option? Well, how does you just do what I said, 10 years ago? Okay, sure. Yeah. Good job, Nintendo. Alright, so that's it for tonight. Join me tomorrow. Hopefully my computer boots off the hard drive just fine tomorrow, and we'll start the Sunday stream at noon Pacific Standard Time, and we will make the citizens of Crossbell City love the police. Or we will, hit them with nightsticks until they do. So that's it for me tonight. Hope you had a good time and have a healthy dinner, and maybe treat yourself to some dessert, and make sure to brush your teeth and floss and clean behind your ears or something. Always a weird phrase. Wash behind your ears. I mean, is that really a dirty place? Let's see. Seems clean. I mean, I figure when I'm washing my hair. Of course, I have big ears, so when I'm washing my hair, I'm normally getting in here, so I feel it's fine. But yeah. All right, that's it. Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.